Hello, welcome to my cross stitch video. I'm Delit and I love cross stitch. So I'm going to start by showing you a project I've been working on a lot over the last month or so. I've been working on it for a while. It's a project my mother cross stitched, and I had her take out the border because of a couple of things I thought could be improved on it. My sister thought it was fine, and I said, but I'll stitch it for you. So she said, okay. So we took it out, and I have been working on this border. Let me hold it up closer for you. Well, that shows the whole thing. I'm going to zoom in a little. It is going to go all the way around the design. Let me show you the whole design. So my mother has mainly stitched this. There's a few things that need to be fixed and a lot of back stitching that need to be done. It's pretty close to being finished. It's a Victorian floral spray. I want to say it's from Across My Heart pamphlet. I'm not positive. And I can't remember who the designer is. If it's the same, probably the same person designed the border. So you use, it calls for Kreinik, which I couldn't find. So we got DMC Diamant. And the second time I ordered some DMC Diamant to get more, I did that online on 123 Stitch, and it had a Diamant Grande. I didn't know there was a difference. The Diamant Grande has more strands all spooled together. So to stitch with the same number I've been stitching with, I had to gradually unspin them. Because when I tried to just pull them out, it like ruined the metallic thread, shredded it. So it kind of is a slow process doing that. And I had done some stitching like this over here that I had to take out because I went the wrong way. I stitch a different direction from my mother. She stitches her crosses going one direction and I stitch it the opposite way. And when I found that, I then examined the whole thing and found other places where I needed to take some out. So I've done that and started putting back in what I had stitched. Anyhow, so I've been working on that a lot lately. I did not cross stitch much for a couple of months. And then I got COVID and I didn't cross stitch while I had COVID. I know other people, when they get COVID, sometimes they're just a little bit sick, but that had a big impact on me and lowered my energy level. So, plus I was busy coughing and gagging and blowing my nose and all of that. So I think I want to show you that I finally bought a pattern that I've been wanting to buy, even though I've been trying to not spend a lot of money on cross stitch. I kind of changed my mind a little bit and got this pattern from Cottage Garden Samplings. Vinny P.S. Tan is the designer of the barn owl. I haven't started this yet. I need to get the fabric for it because I don't want to use any of the fabric that I have, I don't think. So it calls for a couple of weeks dye works. Flosses, and I've never bought those, and they're over dyed flosses, so I'm not excited about that part of it. But I saw a video of a lady who had started stitching this, and she had used the DMC instead, and it made a difference with how the owl looks. And the reason I picked the barn owl over any of the other animals, they have like several that you can choose: forest, animals like bears and, well, I don't know if the reindeer is a forest animal, but those kinds of animals. And the reason I picked the barn owl over the eagle or the bear was how colorful it was. So if I don't use the Weeks Dye Works Carrot floss, 2226, then it won't have this look. And this is what I want. So I will be sure and get that. And then there's one called Grits. And the other thing, the reason I got this design was I love this branch. So I love how colorful the owl is, but the branch was like the deciding factor because I also love the bear they have, but it doesn't have that branch. And someone else in their video said that was the thing that held them back. They didn't love the branch, but one person's trash is another person's treasure, right? I love it. I don't have plans to start stitching it yet because I need to get the fabric still. And I do need, I want to get some fabric for another project before I get the fabric for that. And it's a project in this book I've had for 25 years, a long time. Yeah, something like 25 years. Cross Stitch The Special Moments of Your Life by Marie Barber. Sorry, my hand's in the way. I think I've shown this book before with different projects, but I was excited to start this project. But you need a really long piece of fabric, so I don't have one long enough. So for that reason, I have not started it yet. And that's the next piece of fabric I want to get. I've decided that's the one I really want to start, more so than the barn owl. I was kind of disappointed that I'm excited about the pattern, but I'm disappointed that it's such a small pattern and like not really sturdy. I would prefer to have my paper pattern on something sturdier and bigger. And I wish it was a little more colorful. I mean, they are color symbols, but you know, that just makes it easier to see the difference between stitches or what floss you're supposed to use. Okay, I got that in the month of July. And then I decided that I would finally finish my parrot tulip, which is a design in the Just Cross Stitch magazine. I've shown this before, but I hadn't gotten the materials to make the pillow, so I wanted to show you what I'm going to use to make the pillow. I decided I want the back of the pillow to be velvet. I wanted a cream velvet, but I could not find cream. They had this crushed velvet that's a dusty pink, so see it will go well with that. I mean, it's going to be on the back, but I found that at Hobby Lobby, and they had all their fabrics 40% off, so it was less than $3 for half a yard. And then I got some muslin. I could have gotten this at Hobby Lobby, but I got this when I went to Joann's to put behind the cross stitch. I'm going to stuff it with polyfill. The Hobby Lobby lady was telling me the sizes of pillow forms they have, and I just want it to be a small decorative pillow. It's my mother's. I had given this to her when I got frustrated trying to make a pillow before. So I am going to take a different strategy on making the pillow so I won't get frustrated. This is the top. I'm not going to put any more fabric around it. That's why I'm not doing it on a pillow form, just so I won't get frustrated. I'm going to simplify it. And so then around the edge, I'll have this lace. Thought this was gorgeous lace. And they had this ribbon with beads. And I thought, well, that look nice to put. You won't really see the ribbon because that's going to get tucked in the seam, but you'll see the lace and the beads hanging. It's not really going to, it will probably just sit on its back, so you will hardly get to see the beautiful pink. Doesn't want to stay up. Oh, neither did this. So, very feminine. But that's what I like for that pillow. It makes it kind of elegant. This was not cheap to buy the trim. This trim was pricey. It was, I think, is it as much as the beads? I don't think so. The beads were more. This was the priciest one. But I mean, it has beads, and they've done all the work for you of the beading and the sewing it on. You could make your own, but that saves time. And then I ordered, when I got the owl pattern, when I got this from 123 Stitch, at the same time, I got the diamante thread for my mother's project, and I ordered some linen, Zweigart. It's just like a cream color. I don't remember if it's actually cream, what the name of it is. I think it's 32 count. And I got it to stitch. I did start a few projects, about 3 projects, I think, just in the last month. So I have this book from Teresa Winsler, her fantasy collection. And so I do love this dragon and castle. The dragon is so big. And so I guess I like a dragon that's a little more proportionate. If it's going to be so big, there's like space between it and the castle to connote the idea that the castle is bigger than the dragon. But here, the dragon is bigger than the castle. So she has other designs of a dragon where it's not like, it's different. And I just like those better. I might still do this. I don't know. But not right now. So one of my favorite designs in here is her castle sampler. And so I've started on this, and it's like the shadow on the turret, but it's not the main turret. It's like this one down here, and then there's a little bit of shadow down here. And I think I'm going to start in the rocks. I might have, well, you can see what I'm doing. She has a ton of threads that you need to do this. I'm sure I don't have most of them. DMC, but so I've started. I start in the middle. This is Belfast linen cream, 32 count, 18 by 27 inch. I love that they have the serged edges. I realize now that the stitching in hand causes all this wrinkling. It softens up your fabric to be touching it that much, but using a hoop or a frame would probably help you to not have so many wrinkles like I have. So it's making me contemplate using a frame or a hoop again. Also, I've been having, I don't know if it's arthritis or what, but just really sore, painful arms, hands, shoulder. And I don't know if it's from stitching. I don't really stitch as much as some people, but So anyhow, the threads are like two different colors blended together. And I haven't started any other colors, just that. So I'll be excited to show you progress on that when I make some, but I've started that project. And in an effort to not have so many wrinkles, I am rolling it up. It kind of protects it from dust that way too. It also rolls off of things really easy when you keep them rolled up. So I got, when I was at Joann's, I got some even weave fabric, just white even weave, so I could start a black work project. And this is the corner up here. I have more to stitch in here. And that, I have the pattern from a book I've had for a long time. Black Work by Leslie Wilkins. Well, actually, Beginner's Guide to Black Work. And I'll show you in here. I'm doing a sampler, so you kind of pick the motifs and borders and fill-ins that you want. And so this is up in the corner. I am stitching this. Kind of turned a different, it's kind of turned, I don't know if that looks right. It's turned like this up in the fabric, up in the corner. I'll probably put a border around the sampler, so this isn't the exact top and left, but it's a name sampler. I'm going to put my name and my grandmother's name because I have her name. So my name is Stellet, her name was Stellet, and our middle name is Elizabeth, so just Stellet Elizabeth. And so I have certain motifs that are like emblematic of her and some for me. So this is a flower for Grandma. I think they're supposed to be roses. When you do black work, if any of you are familiar, it's not cross stitch, but it's needlework. Traditional black work is black on white, like you see here, or black with gold on white. It comes from like the time of Henry VIII and the Queen of England, Elizabeth I, and all those people. It's called Spanish work sometimes because they did that in Spain, and they put it on their clothes and their linens and things like that. This is just going to be a sampler that I hang up on the wall, though. They use something called Holbein stitch. Holbein was a painter back in that time period of kings and princesses and things. And so his artwork shows this kind of stuff in it, black work. And Holbein stitch, instead of black stitch, you do like a running stitch and then you go back. So you have to kind of go and follow the pattern and design. But you haven't filled the whole thing in, and then you go back and fill it in so that it's one continuous line. It gives it a smoother, more even look to do the Holbein stitch versus just back stitch. It's very nice. I really enjoy doing it, but I am a little frustrated with this project right now as I was trying to stitch inside one of the little hearts. It was late at night. I guess it wasn't a good time for me to try to cope with the issue. It wasn't coming out right. Because, you know, I've turned the design a little bit from how it is in the book onto my fabric, and anyway, just going across, you know, when it's vertical lines like this, that's one thing, but when you go like on a diagonal, I guess I just don't think three-dimensionally visually very well. So it's a little turned around in my head, and I will eventually figure it out, but that's where that is right now. And then the last fabric, and I also got a piece of Irish linen when I was there that has this natural look to it. 28 count, I think, DMC. And it was very stiff when I bought it, and now it's not because I stitch in hand. And like just the fabric brushing against my skin was rough and it hurt. Kind of like, not as much as this. This is very stiff still. I also haven't worked on that much. But now it's not. It's pliable and softer and doesn't hurt to touch. And before I show you the pattern, I mean what I've done, let me show you the pattern. I've had this for a long time. I got it at a store that we had that sold, they're still there, but they no longer sell cross-stitch stuff. But back when I got this 20, maybe less than 20, but around 20 years ago, you know, could be 16 years ago or something. I got this Quaker Style Friendship Sampler, and I love both. I love the idea of doing a monochromatic Quaker sampler, but I also really liked this. And when I got this fabric, the more I thought about it, the more I thought this is what I wanted to stitch on it. I looked at a few different possibilities and I was like, I want to do that. And she does not tell you any floss colors. Oh, she does, in fact, give you floss colors. Somehow I missed it. I don't know how I didn't see these floss colors, but I didn't. Anyhow, I went and got anchor floss to stitch this, and I'm happy and content with what I did. I wonder what it would look like if I had not looked past. I gotta show you this. Here, I thought it didn't show this. It's right there. It absolutely does give the floss colors, but it says here, somewhere it said it's just stitched with whichever colors you want. Now I can't find that phrase because it's disappeared. Assorted colors, that's it. Oops. I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyway, I just read that and didn't even see the list. I went and got anchor floss. They're a little more expensive, but they come on spools. They're a little thinner than DMC floss. And I wasn't sure if I would like that or not, but it covers just fine, I thought. And I like stitching with it. It looks nice, feels nice. And since you are getting a spool, that's why it costs more. If you're going to buy floss drops, if you're not spending 13 cents per floss drop, then, or if you're making your own, then I guess it doesn't make sense. But if you are, this is just as cheap to get a spool to keep it nice and neat. And so I just tried to match the colors here with the anchor color. So I got this green and this brown for the brown. And I wasn't sure if that was black for the writing in the middle, or after I had already decided to use my DMC at home, I realized maybe it was like a gray, and I see here that they used a charcoal color in DMC. I guess I could always take it out and put something in. The black is a little harsh, but anyhow, I got a blue, kind of a cornflower blue, a little bit of a periwinkle to it, not a strong periwinkle color though. And a soft pink, yellow. It's like a banana yellow. And there's like this, I don't know if you call that lavender or not, but it might be hard for you to see the colors on your television or computer or phone, whatever you are watching this with. I wanted to try anchor floss out. It seemed like a good project to do that on. And here's what I have stitched. So this is the middle where you put your initials and the year that you stitch it. So I've left, I could finish it this year, but we'll see. So I'll wait until I actually finish it. And I could have done the two to suggest that I will finish it in the next 5 years. That doesn't seem so hard. But I didn't, just in case. You never know. I'd stitched something for someone once and had to change the date because they changed their wedding date. I was doing a wedding sampler for them. And then they wound up not staying married before I finished the project. So I'm a little superstitious about putting the finished date on that. Okay. So next I need to show you what I've been working on. I have one more thing I bought to show you. And that is some pearl cotton for starting my hardanger Christmas ornaments. I did find a hardanger band sampler in one of my Just Cross Stitch magazines. Actually, it's in several Just Cross Stitch magazines, but it looked kind of complicated. So I'm going to start off with just a tiny ornament and start learning some of the hardanger stitches, which I haven't done before. You can do it in any color or mixture, or like variegated flosses. It's all very pretty, but I especially like the white on white. And the way I decorate for Christmas, white on white works really well. So just some very tiny, simple Christmas ornaments. I looked through my patterns and found those. They are like 3 patterns that I printed off the internet 15 or more years ago, and I can't really show them here. I guess I could have shown you the part that shows you how to do the hardanger. Hardanger, not cross stitch, but really very pretty type of needlework. Let me show you, before I show you what the work that I've done on projects I've been working on. I pulled this out, which is a project I have worked on in the past, but haven't been working on lately. But I want to get going on it again. I also have more fabric to start more of the projects in this pamphlet, which I think would be nice. It is this pamphlet. This is the design I've been working on. And that's a wild rose, an Afghan. And this would have been a lovely Afghan. And look, pillows to match. I love it. This is just something to frame, though. My friend, I think, gave me this. Rosemary's Garden by Rosemary Drysdale. So anyway, it says the name of the flower, and then it says what the flower represents. So there's just, like rosemary, remembrance, things like that. And it's about 6, I think it's 6 different designs. And they each have a border. So here is the one that I have finished the flower and started on the border. I think it's just a 14 count Ada. I need to iron it. That is one of my big concerns with this. It's been ironed, but there's still enough of a wrinkle in it. It's not exactly totally perfect, but I'm hoping that when I sew it and stuff it with the polyfill, that will go away. Fingers crossed. So anyway, I'm looking forward to working on that. When I saw that, I thought, I should pull that out, and this is my fancy storage for my project. Just put it in a grocery bag. No, it is not the best method. It is the cheapest one. Let's see. I don't have the pattern to show you for this, but I can show you the progress I've made on it. This is one of the ones I've worked on the most in the last month. This is my Barbara Anna House on Hill sampler. So I'll just put it up closer. And remember, we're not judging me too harshly for things like having used masking tape on the edges and how dirty the fabric is, and that I've been working on it for 10 years. But since last time, I have not finished the sun, but I finished this shade of yellow in the sun. Before I think I had like the bottom half done, and now I have all of that. I just need to fill it in, which isn't a lot. The roof, I finished the roof. I took out the chimney. It was like in the wrong spot, which would have been okay. But then I need to put clouds and birds over here, and I just didn't want to have to rearrange things so much. I thought I'll take it out. If it looks terrible because it's sat there for 10 years, I'll put it back in. But I guess I could have made it more narrow. But anyhow, I just took it out and I'll put it back in. It's not that many stitches. I did some more flowers. I still have more flowers to do. Over here, I discovered a bit of an error with, I think, this top pair. It's a little bit too far away from the branch. There's like an extra space. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. But I hadn't done a whole lot of the tree, but I've added more on to the tree, the branches. I've done a bunch of green. I think the green was up to here, and I've put a bunch of green in. I don't think I have done anything down here, but I did finish the flower. I was filling that in. I think I hadn't finished both trees, so I finished the trees. That might be all I've done, but that's a lot for me. It's not a lot for other people, but for me, that's a lot to have done. So, another project I've worked on that doesn't have a pattern is my sagebrush sampler that I'm just putting alphabet in, and I'm going to come up with my own way of how to stitch stuff. No pattern. So I have done a lot of this, like stitching on the side to try to deal with fraying on different projects, but you don't need to see that. I haven't finished it though, and now I've got more fabric that needs it done. So I've just been working on my alphabet. I think I already had done the one. I've added the two. And I think I had done a lot of these letters up here, but I've got my, oh look, you can't see my H. I've added, I know I just did the K. I don't know if you had the J before. I know I added the M. I don't know if you had the N before, or if you had seen the H. You might have seen the H. But anyway, I've added M and K and the 2. I'm not sure if I added anything else that you hadn't seen. So I have worked a little bit on my sagebrush, but it doesn't look like it. So I just need to do more on that. I was hesitating on doing it the way I had pictured the sagebrush, because when I would drive past the sagebrush around here, I think that the base looks different. You know, it does look different from what I have in my head and what I started stitching. So I stopped stitching on it and researched, and you know why? I am from a town about 1,000 feet higher elevation than where I live now. And there is a different species of sagebrush that grows there. And that is what I have in my head of what a sagebrush looks like. Like when I remember having seen sagebrush driving here or there, or being out in the field behind our house growing up. Or when we were up in the mountains camping or whatever. But that's a higher altitude sagebrush. It's big basin sagebrush. This is probably big basin sagebrush too, but at a lower altitude, it does look different. And it is the part that I was noticing was different, like the base and things like that. So I'm now feeling more confident about stitching it the way I had imagined, but I just need to actually do it. So I had worked on that. I said that that was more. I know that looks like very little, but you'll see when I show you these other projects that that is more. So I worked on my Paula Vaughn project from the Best of Paula Vaughn book 2 called Forgotten Basket. I'm just going to show you the pattern or a picture of what the finished project looks like. Okay, and so I have been working on this, but not a lot, just a little bit. I also had to take some out that I did wrong. People call it frogging. It sounds, I think of a frog as being kind of ugly, gross, and grimy. I don't like to think of it as frogging. Just taking it out is a bit unpleasant to do, but anyhow, I just added more green, I think is the main thing. It's this light colored green in just a few places. I'm not sure if I did a whole lot more of the other green. But anyhow. And then, I don't have great big huge sections finished like other people. One lady said she would never stitch only 23 stitches in one sitting. And so I had to count on this pattern because I thought that sounds about like what I stitch in one sitting is 23 stitches. In fact, sometimes it's probably more like 10 stitches. But yeah, just like the top part of the crown, I did. I had done the other part. I had done part of the crown before. That wasn't even 23 at one time. But, so, yeah. I don't stitch a whole huge amount. Yeah, it is faster to just fold these. Okay. So the last project to show you, I think it really is the last thing to show you or talk about, is my Good Shepherd project. That's this pattern. And before, I think I had just done some of the gray. It's not really gray. It's like a shade of green. But I had just done this stuff here for the cloth. Over here by the lamb, there's like some shadows in the cloth. But now I've done a little bit of the sheep up here and another like cream color on the cloth. So that. This one is fraying a lot, but it's also the one that I've sewn on the edge the most. So I'm getting there to protect it. So you can see that the lamb goes, well, this is his hand here. The lamb is right up here. You can kind of see the leg coming down here and back here. This is Jesus's hand in here, or his sleeve and his hand. But I haven't stitched it. Anyway. I think that's everything. Enjoy your cross stitching. Leave any comments you have for me below. Thank you.